Hey everybody, welcome to the Stack Your Points. This is the Monday edition, which is our Back to Basics segment. This is a section where we talk about all things basic credit cards, whether it is knowing what an introductory APR offer is, what are transfer partners and how do I access them, what rules does American Express have. All of this and more will be answered in this section. This is our weekly section, just getting those who are new to credit cards kind of up to speed.
So, as always, folks, let's jump into things. We're going to get started this week with back to basics for the week, and we're going to take a look at a 10,000-foot view of things. We're going to look at co-branded credit cards as a whole. What is a co-branded credit card, and why would you go after them? And what are some examples of some co-branded credit cards? So, we'll start with RJ. What do you have to say about co-brands?
So co-branded credit cards can be useful if you're somebody who has picked your partners, as Lonnie loves to say, and I have sort of adopted as my mantra as well. Like I fly Delta. It's basically the only airline that I regularly fly is Delta. So I do have a Delta card because when I book Delta flights, I get points for those flights or miles, and then I can turn those into more flights later. So for me, it's very useful. I just booked about $5,000 in flights, so I will get 10,000 miles for my trouble based on the card I have, which will turn into more flights later. So they can be very helpful if you have sort of dedicated partners. I don't have a Marriott or Hilton card. That's sort of next on the board, either business or personal. But if I did, I could get like 20, 21 Hilton points per dollar I spend when I spend them at Hilton. That would turn quickly into more Hilton stays versus the 6 points I could get if I used my Amex Green card with the 2-to-1 or 1-to-2 transfer to Hilton. So they can be a very quick way for you to rack up points on stays. They can also cover some like categories. One of the Hilton cards, I think it's the middle Hilton card on the personal side, covers like online spend. So if you're buying things online, you can get four, I think, um, points per dollar for Hilton. So if you're having sort of gaps in your coverage, they can fill some interesting gaps or help you do that. So they're good if you know your partners. Now, if you're somebody who never stays at the same place twice and sort of is all over the map and will just, pull off to the side of the road on road trips and stay wherever, they may not be the wisest choice. But for partnerships, and if you know where you're going, they can be a nice way to sort of self fill your bucket of points and miles as you go along without actually having to do much other than spend money on stays to have points or miles for stays later on.
Thanks, RJ. Yeah, um, the Hilton Surpass really strong on that online spend category. Some other things with them can be they can outright give you status, especially with the hotel cards can do that. The Hilton Honors card gives you automatic silver status. The Hilton Surpass automatic gold. The Hilton Aspire is automatic diamond as part of the annual fee, and that will supercharge your earnings at Hilton specifically for those cards. Other cards that will give you status would be like the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant will give you it's platinum.
Platinum.
It's not titanium. It's platinum. Um, and what are some others that give you? Oh, the IHG credit cards, the Premier and the Business both give you platinum status.
That's correct. Yep.
I like how I can still remember these things right off the top of my head.
Instant platinum. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
And then a credit card that I don't have but is talked about a lot in terms of the co-branded world is the Wyndham Diamond, the Wyndham Business Earners credit card, which gives you Wyndham Diamond status, which you can use that Wyndham Diamond to status match to Caesar's casinos for Caesar's Diamond status, which then you can use to status match to a whole bunch of other casinos, and you can end up with like a couple of cruises out of the deal with the way that you do the status matches with those casinos. There are plenty of other videos on that one, and that's like a whole other topic. But co-branded cards can give you status to amplify your earning, and when you earn status, using your co-branded credit cards, that will also amplify your earning, like the United Explorer card can, because when you have certain status with United, then every dollar you spend with United can get like 11x without having to get a higher card, if I'm correct on this one.
Yes, but it's not as simple as you think. You're saying
Right.
you're saying the correct thing, but they're two separate things that when they come together make a whole lot of more sense. Um, but yeah, so when it comes to co-branded cards, I'll just give my little 2 cents real quick, and then I'll jump back onto the United card, which I personally have. Um, if you, well, I'll say it like this. So a co-branded card, by definition, is just a card that's through a particular bank or issuer, but then also has a particular partner attached to it. So in my case, I'm going to use United right now. It is a Chase card, which is the bank or issuer, but it's a United Chase card. So it's Chase, but United. The main difference here is, as Matt was also mentioning, is that because it is a Chase card, it does not get Chase UR points, any type of Chase points. It only earns those United miles. So the co-branded card usually earns whatever travel or currency it's partnered with. So if it's IHG, it's IHG points. If it's United, it's United. If it's American, it's American, et cetera, et cetera. Now, a lot of the things that I would recommend with a co-branded card, as RJ had mentioned, if you pick your partners, it's going to be very beneficial in whatever strategy that you pick. So in my strategy, my plan A, which I've talked about numerous times, I love my United card because of what Matt has just said. First off, before we get into the status aspect, the only card, co-branded card that I'm aware, well, most airline cards don't necessarily give you status. They give you a little bump to help get you status. So even United card, once you have it, you do not get any type of instant status, but depending on how much you spend on that card within the year, you can get PQP, which are Premier Qualifying Points, which is the points currency that earns you status with United. The more, as Matt was saying, the higher tier status you get, from nothing to silver to gold to platinum to 1K. There is a global service which is invite only. It's like the black card for United. The higher you go up that status ladder, the higher multipliers you get for every dollar you spend on flights or directly through United. Now, going back to the co-branded aspect of it, once you have that card, everything that you spend with United directly, you'll automatically get an extra point or extra mile in this case. So if it was a standard purchase that I went to for at Target, I didn't realize my dog just got in here. If it was a standard purchase that you went through at Target, you would only get 1 mile per dollar. But if I were to do that exact same amount, but for United, let's say it was $100, it's instantly 2 miles per dollar for everything I spend directly with United, which is a very, very easy point stack. Now you're probably saying one extra mile ain't going to really do that much for me. And you're probably right. But when you mix it with the status, for example, if I have 1K and I buy a flight, I'll get 11 miles per dollar for every dollar that I spend. And if I use my United card, I'm actually earning now 13 miles per dollar, which could be a heck of a lot even for a cheap economy flight when you really add it all up. Now, I say all this because, once again, of those benefits. So you don't get status, but you get help getting status faster. You will get extra points or miles, usually through co-branded cards when you use that card with that particular brand. Going back to IHG Premier, it's normally, you go through any of your other travel cards. I'm going to use Sapphire, 3 points per dollar. Sapphire Preferred is travel at 2 points per dollar. Built is 2 points per dollar, et cetera, et cetera. But with the ISG Premier card, it instantly jumps to 26 points per dollar, which is ridiculously high. And then last but not least, the benefits that you get. So like with my United card, I just named some of them off. Free check bag for me, a companion. It could be up to almost 8 companions, priority boarding, etc. Same thing with the IHG card. That when you do get instant platinum status, as Matt mentioned, you automatically get early check-in, late checkout, and a room upgrade just by holding the card. So those are some of the quick benefits. I know I didn't say that quick, but those are some of the quick benefits of why you should choose or consider a co-branded card, especially after you pick your partners.
One shout out from Marriott. Be very careful if you want to go the Chase Marriott way or the Amex Marriott way, because they're one of the few that have co-branded cards in two different ecosystems and they do not play with each other. So if you have an Amex Marriott card and you want to go up the ladder, so to speak, to a higher annual fee card that has more, you only can go in the system you're in. So if you have the Bold, which is a Chase card, you can't get the Brilliant on Amex without applying for it fresh, taking the hit if you don't have anything else for Amex, and going in that direction. If you want the Ritz-Carlton card, you have to be in the Chase ecosystem and you have to do a couple of other things that we don't want to get into right now. But it's a move that you have to do in the Chase ecosystem. You cannot do it in Amex. It doesn't matter how many Amex cards you have, it's not a card they offer. It's one of the more unique ones because two hotel chains merged. Amex had one, Chase had the other. It seems like Marriott likes Chase more. I'm sorry, it seems like Marriott likes Amex more, but they have technically more cards with Chase. It's a weird partnership, but I wanted to call it out because I've heard some people talk about having like a bevy and wanting to get a Ritz card, and no, you can't do that.
No, the path to do that is fraught with danger, and that is like a whole other, like, we could do. Somebody has to explain like the intricacies of the Starwood Preferred Guest program when it was purchased by Marriott and everything that happened with that, because that is like, in terms of credit cards, that is like a whole class in and of itself. If we were thinking of college classes, like, it's an elective. If you want to do that with Marriott, you hit that elective, be my guest, get that. I'm going to stop talking about college because that was a terrible time for me. So we're going to move on to some other co-branded cards. It doesn't have to be travel focused. Like, we talk a lot about travel cards, but there are co-branded cards that will handle cash back. There are cards issued by a U.S. bank that are all of the, oh God, who owns Harris Teeter? It's not is it Meyer? I want to say. Kroger, sorry, all of the Kroger cards from US Bank. Those all come with a mobile wallet category that gives you 5% mobile wallet, regardless of where you're spending with the mobile wallet, up to $3,000 every year. So your first $3,000 on that card, and this is a Kroger co-branded credit card issued by US Bank, you get 5% cash back using your mobile wallet. The Apple card is another co-branded card. It gives
Amazon.
you 2% back on everything. The Amazon card with Chase. Synchrony does a lot of co-branded cards with a lot of different issuers. Barclays, most Barclays credit cards happen to be co-branded cards, whether they're for travel or for retailer-specific rewards networks like the Gap and Banana Republic and Old Navy. That's a weird credit card, but it exists. And another one that is a co-branded credit card that you wouldn't think of as a co-branded credit card is the AAA Travelers Rewards credit card and the AAA Everyday Advantage card. Both of those give you cash back. They're issued by Synchrony, but they are co-branded with AAA. So there's a bunch of different co-branded cards out there. A lot of times you're going to think of the brand and you're not going to think about the issuer, but knowing knowing the brand and the issuer can be beneficial, especially when you're trying to figure out how you're going to get those rewards and use those rewards. Typically with travel, it's the clearest cut. Okay, I'm just getting the rewards in that network. United Mileage Plus, Bilt Rewards. Bilt is another co-branded credit card. And then, like, who's going to give you the cash back? So co-branded cards can definitely help you with when you pick your partners. They're going to be the easiest way to start building a relationship with that partner. And if you are looking for other ways to get more cash back or looking into a cashback setup, some co-branded credit cards can definitely assist with that.
I have a question for all of you because I know the answer or I know my answer, but I'm interested in what you all think. Is Built a co-branded Wells Fargo card?
Yes.
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 That's what I would say too, because
It's a
they are
rewards program.
right.
So yeah.
But I was looking at examples of co-branded cards and I don't see them on anybody's list, and I'm like, but they are. They really are. And we have to get our Built mention in for the week, and I don't know if we're getting it anywhere else, so I thought I'd throw it in here.
At least it's not a negative mention this week.
This is true.
Or a what the heck is going on over there? I still ask that question most days and get asked that question most days. I can't answer. All right, so that will probably do it for basics of the week, but we like to do this segment just to give you kind of a 10,000-foot view of things, and then we'll dive deeper as we go into some other portions of the show. So with that, thanks for watching Basics.